Ladies and
Uh-oh.
gentlemen, boys and girls,
Yeah.
children of all ages.
We've been waiting on this
Hey,
one.
About time. Can
let-
y'all hear me? Y'all hear me all right?
You
yes, sir, we can
good.
hear you. If y'all don't know who this man is, if y'all don't know who this man is, man, this man is a Chicago legend, a staple in the South Side of history. We're talking about the one and only Marvin Freeman from the South Side.
Hey,
Marvin, how you
Marvin
feeling, brother?
Freeman. What's up? What's up? Just for the people out there that don't know, man, here go my rookie card when I was 23, coming straight up out the bushes trying to get my paper on, man. Straight out of
Hello.
Chicago. CVS High School, baby. Jackie Robinson West, all of that.
Hey!
So,
Hey, Free, I tell them all the time, G. The greatest little league of all
uh,
time.
uh,
JRW. We stand on it.
yes,
You know what I'm saying?
sir. Yes, sir. They used to call me the Happy Meal free agent, man. Mr. Haley used to come pick me up
See,
from the crib with a Happy Meal and a baseball and say, go on ahead and do your work, man. And
man,
I was
that's
pitching
dope.
double headers for him out there, dog. I'm
Hey,
pitching double headers.
double headers, huh? So Free, man. How you been, man? How you been, man?
I'm good, man. I've been running wild, man. These kids down here, they need me, man. The pitching world is it's in shambles now with all of this stuff people making up, trying to get our young boys to believe that they got to have one dimension to be able to pitch, be able to, if you don't throw a certain velocity, you ain't going to get a shot. But I think it's coming back around now. Hopefully, these guys are realizing that there's more than one way to skin a cat like it's always been. Arms will stop popping at a record pace. We'll start giving these guys an opportunity to kind of get out there and show what they can do. And my part of it is helping these guys understand the reality, man. So I just came up. I've been doing lessons all day, man. I had to put this one kid out because he wanted to get some extra, but I say, hey, man, my homies is waiting on me to give them this love, so I got to rush home.
Man, we appreciate that Free Will, man. It's just just for everybody who don't know, Free, talk about a little bit of your background, where you come from, what little league you played for, and what high school you attended, my brother.
Yeah, I came from Inglewood, man. 73rd and Low,
Hello.
coming up, trying to trying to find my niche in this world. I'm 6'7", so everybody thought I was gonna play basketball, but after getting served up by Mark Aguirre and Terry Cummings and guys like that, I knew my future wasn't gonna be on the court. It was gonna have to be on the field because I figure like by me being tall, I'm gonna stand out in baseball. I'm just average size, and you're going up against guys that's dunking on you, man, and you can't. My psyche wouldn't allow me to go out there and continue to do that. So started off, watching the Cubs and the White Sox. We had WGN. That was one of the few channels that we got in Chicago that was clear. Wasn't no
Mhm.
cable back then.
Okay.
So rush home from school, 3:15, Cubs game is on. I see Fergie Jenkins, Big Lee Smith coming in to save it, and I'm like, I can do that right there. And they was two brothers, it's two black guys that look like me. So that automatically gave me the confidence that if they can do it, then I can do it as well. And so as I watched the Cubs game and whether they won, because I used to be a diehard Cub fan, and if they lost, I felt bad. If they won, I was happy. I went outside and took my rubber ball and I was probably about 15 years old. I hadn't even played little league yet. I was just playing strikeout. That was my travel ball.
Wow.
Going on the next block to play against another dude. That was travel ball to me. My winter lessons was trying to see if I could throw a curveball with snow on the ground. So every day I was out there, I'm throwing against this wall, man, and people would walk by. I didn't even have no hitters out there. I'm just working, just trying to imitate the guys that I saw on TV. Little did I know it was training me and getting the kind of reps in that I was going to need to have a real good understanding of my fundamentals so that when I did get to a organized team, it was not new to me to learn how to pitch. I didn't have guys that didn't know how to pitch trying to tell me how to pitch. I kind of went into it with an idea and an understanding of what I needed to do based off how I copied big leaguers. And so when I was at CVS, I played, we played a little as a freshman. I tried out for the basketball team, and, basketball was like, I'm like the 12th man on the 11-man team, a brother sitting on the bench. And they was having a baseball tryouts. You know how it overlaps in Chicago where
Yeah.
basketball is finna end, and then they had baseball tryouts.
Yep.
So I went to try out for the baseball team as a, just something to do. And the first time I threw, the coach was like, where you been, man? And at CVS, when I went to CVS, they was known for having, good sports teams in every sport, football, basketball, and baseball. And so the baseball team had a lot of older guys. And so I tried out. They saw I could, throw strikes. I was pretty good. I knew what I was doing. So I got made the team, and I sat on the bench all year. I pitched against Hirsch High School. That was the first game I pitched in high school.
Wow.
And that was because Hirsch was so bad. The coach was like, well, let me throw Freeman a biscuit right here. He's been coming to practice. He's been riding the bench all year. Let me go ahead and throw him. So I throw a no-hitter the first game, right? And it ain't hard to no-hit Hirsch. They showing up with, they got Timberlands on. Ain't nobody got no belts on. They got Kangos on for their hats. So it was like, it was just unorganized. But after he saw how I, pitched, he was like, well, you're gonna pitch a lot more next year. And I was a sophomore then. I didn't play baseball as a freshman. My junior year, that's the year we won the city championship. Got a chance to win the game at Comiskey Park. Got a chance to pitch against, I think Orr High School was the team we played against in the finals. And Orr had Anthony Kelly. Anthony Kelly is a guy from Chicago as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he got drafted out of high school. He was a senior, and it was like tons of scouts there to see him. And it was me, Big Stan Palmore. We had Yogi. We had a bunch of guys that can play. Derek Lane. I think we had about 4 or 5 guys get drafted off that team. But we was on our way to Comiskey, and we was like, yeah, man, all these scouts coming out here to see these guys. Let's go ahead and steal their shine. And so we beat Orr 10-0 in the semifinals. And after the game, all the scouts was like, well, who is that little skinny dude right there, the junior, that we don't know nothing about? And that's how my name got, really on the scene. Right. And so going into my senior year, I was already, highly recognized, highly recruited. Ended up pitching, I think we won like 22-1. The only game we lost was in the playoffs down state to Effingham in the state playoffs. But I had about 7 no-hitters. If you ask guys that I played against in high school, every one of them hit a home run off me. Oh, I hit a home run off you. I'm like, first of all, bro, it wasn't even no fence where we played at. So if you hit a base hit, it's going to roll all the way to 89th Street.
You know what I'm saying?
So these dudes, they still rolling off that. And I'm like, cool, okay, if I hit a home run off a major leaguer, I'm gonna make up a fishtail and tell that story as many times as possible as well. So I'm still living in dudes' heads, even to this day. I'm cool with that.
Hey, Free, you gotta let them have a little fun. Free, you gotta let them have a little fun, man. You know the truth.
Man, sometimes you can't squash another man's dream if yours is still going on.
Hello.
So I went to I ended up going to Jackson State, and I was wondering how come, I didn't get the kind of recruiting that I was seeing other guys get. And we came to find out that our high school coach, he didn't give us none of the letters that colleges was sending. We was just in his office one day after school. It was like at the end of the season, and me and my buddy Stan was like, hey man, how come we ain't getting recruited? We both got drafted out of high school.
Right.
We wondering why we didn't get recruited. So we opened up his drawer. He got 100 letters in his drawer.
What's some of the schools that you can think of?
Nebraska, Michigan, mostly the Big Ten schools. all those schools up there in the north, but I was sick of baseball in cold weather, so
Yeah.
I wanted to go somewhere that was hot.
Right.
And Jackson State, Coach Brady always recruited guys from Chicago. He had a bunch of guys on the team. Charlie Scott was one of the guys that I looked up to when I was coming up, and he ended up going to Jackson State. He was a star down there, and I was like, I'm going to Jackson State. I had never even been to Mississippi before. I'm like, I'm going to Jackson State because Jackson State they take brothers,
Right.
they put brothers on the field, and so I get down here to Jackson State, right, and I'm touring the university. Back then, it wasn't no go visit and then come back home and make a decision. You had to make
Yeah.
your decision. And then when I got down there, I'm walking around and I'm looking at the field. I was like, this is the practice field, right? It was like, no, this is it. So the field was grimy, man. It was grimy, but they was like, hey, in the SWAC, we play ball. It's gonna be a lot of talking. It's gonna be a lot of jaw jacking.
That's right up your alley.
Guys gonna be talking smack, and so it's gonna test your mental dexterity, basically.
Hello.
And got a chance to go down here, man, and I was the hot crab coming in. We got this crab coming in from Chicago. He got drafted. Let's bust him up. I think at my freshman year, I led the nation in walks and strikeouts. Dude, I was throwing 175 pitches at 5 innings.
Oh my God.
So that's
I'm still working, man.
Hey, man, they called me Starving Marvin. I ain't had no muscles. I was just getting bones, but I never got sore.
Hey, but you had this right here.
Every day.
You had this right here more than anything.
Man.
More than anything, you had
that.
that.
Battling, we doing our thing. So anyway, fast forward 3 years later, I ended up getting drafted in the second round by the Phillies at 21 years old. This was coming off of a summer where I had to go to Cape Cod and I had to really prove myself because when I got to Cape Cod, I was like Jackie Robinson. I was the only black pitcher in the league. And they was looking at me like, man, how you get here? And I was like, well, when I get on that mound, I'm gonna show you why I'm here. And so I went 7-1. I made the Cape Cod All-Star team. So coming back to Jackson State for my junior year, I was All-American. I had did it at the best college league in the country and did it to some of the guys that was like superstars and Olympians. And I did what I had to do. So Phillies ended up drafting me in the second round in 84. 86, I made my major league debut at 23 through a one-hitter against the Mets. My daughter was born on the same day.
The day of your firstborn child.
That's dope,
Come on, man. How is it going to unfold any better than that, right? And so,
That's dope,
I went from there and, tried to find how to stay in the big leagues. So I started studying other guys that were successful. I really, really wanted to kind of imitate Doc Gooden. So Doc Gooden was 18 years old. He was striking out 300. He had won Cy Young, MVP, Player of the Year. He won everything. He was like 24-3. And I was like, I'm going to be Doc Gooden. So I tried to do everything he did. Throw the overhand, curveball, high fastball. Man, they was lighting me up, y'all. I was like, I got to change this up. I got to find out who I am.
Right.
I got to be the guy that's going to be Marvin Freeman. And then when I started understanding my strengths and understanding that I couldn't be somebody else, that's when I started really learning the aspects of the game that was going to help me continue to be successful. And that's what I even teach to this day. A lot of time our little guys don't really have nobody that they can emulate, especially black pitchers. There's so few of us. And so when we look at this position on TV, we feel like we got to play something else because some of them feel like, how can I make it when I don't see it?
Yeah.
And that's my motto. When you see it, you can be it. And so that's why I try to do so much stuff on social media. People are always like, man, don't nobody want to see them 30-year-old videos you be putting up. But they're not understanding the context and what I'm putting them up for. I remember when Ken Griffey Jr. went into the Hall of Fame, he was almost a unanimous selection, and I was doing a pitching lesson that night, and I asked the kid, I was like, "Man, you excited? Ken Griffey Jr. was almost got picked 100% to go into the Hall of Fame," and the kid was a junior in high school. He was like, "Who is Ken Griffey Jr.?"
Yeah.
So I'm like, if they don't know the greatest player in the game, I know they don't know what I did.
Yep.
So
I
let
guess
me
that.
flood social media with Marvin Freeman highlights, tips, and things that can help these guys understand that I did it and I did it well. I wasn't just a guy that just went out there and got a cup of coffee and then now I'm trying to tell everybody how good I was. I show them, and then when I teach it to them and they learn it, it carries a lot more weight.
For
Yes.
somebody got a question, Sam or Aaron, can you read this one from Dream to
Dream
be
to be
Dream to be an
iconic.
icon?
That
Yeah,
is a hell of an
that
Instagram, man. You about to
is
get us
dope.
mumbling like we can't read or something. Okay.
You know what I'm
Dream
saying?
to be iconic. What are the top 3 pieces of advice for high school pitchers? That's a good question. Thank you,
Great
Dream
question.
to be iconic. Make sure you follow Marvin Freeman and all 3 of us.
First of all, what I tell high school pitchers is you have to be able to control your body. You can't control your body. You're not going to have any kind of command that's going to allow you to have a 3-pitch mix that's going to allow you to deceive the hitter, that's going to allow you to move the ball around. It's not going to allow you a chance to be a pitcher. So, in understanding how to move, then you understand what the ball is telling you when you don't do it right. So, as a pitcher, you got to have a strong foundation with your lower half. You got to pay attention to what the actual mistakes you're making are telling you. For instance, if I'm missing arm side up and in, I got to know why that's happening. So I don't go 3-0 all the time and then I got to throw something down the middle. So it's so many different things, and most of them apply separately to each individual pitcher because everybody
Hmm.
has different strengths. So you have to coach the individual more so than coming up with a template
Mm.
that's going to help everybody because
Say that one
most
more
people
time.
do
Say that
things
one more
differently.
time. Because
There,
we going to replay that. We replaying that one. Say that one more time.
there is no template for
That's right.
success. You have to understand what you do and what your strengths are and what your flaws are. And you got to make your strengths stronger and you got to show up your flaws so that you know how you can adjust faster. When you can
Mm.
adjust faster,
Mm.
then you can control the situation a little bit better.
That's some Martin Luther King stuff right there in baseball. Hold
Hey,
on.
Sam, we got a question from the agent. Can you read that one for me, please, sir?
You see Levy
That's the
Johnson?
thing. I'm
Yeah.
trying, so I'm having a hard time picking up on the question.
I,
So
I got you,
you gonna have
Sam.
to
I
take
can
that.
see. Yeah, I got you. So Levy Johnson, shout out to Levy Johnson, sports agent. Black female, that's an MLB agent. Make sure y'all check it out. So she asked from an agent perspective, how would you have want to be represented today's society?
Mm.
How would I want to do what again?
How would you have wanted to be represented in today's society from an MLB agent?
Represented as far as what?
From an agent
From an
standpoint.
agent standpoint.
The agent worked for me. And if my agent gave me some advice that I didn't think was going to be beneficial for me in my career, then I didn't go for it. I mean, I remember when I was getting ready to sign out of Jackson State, and I knew I was going to be in the first or second round. And one of the agents, I'm not going to say his name, but he's still an agent to this day. He's very well known. I knew I wasn't going back to Jackson State. I
You knew he
I
wasn't
was
going.
like Shador. I
He
said
said,
to
"Yeah,
Shador told me,
I'm gonna go to
never
the
forget
Going
this.
to the
league.
He didn't
league.
answer
I'm
nothing.
going to the league.
I'm not coming back next year. So
Yeah, I'm out of here,
the agent
G."
was like, if we this is what threw me off. If we don't get what we looking for, then we'll go back to Jackson State. I said, we can't go back to Jackson State. I say I already checked out. Once I was eligible for my junior year, after the fall, my whole spring was dedicated to baseball. My first my first class was Young and Restless. I woke up at 12 to go to the dining hall to eat lunch and came back and watched the soap operas before practice. And then when I went to practice, that was my major. My major was baseball. Now, sometimes the parents get a little upset when I tell this story because you always hear them say, well, you got to have something to fall back on. Well, me being from Chicago, I'm too tall to work at the post office. I definitely can't fit them uniforms, man. Them uniforms was hitting the brother a little bit high in the shorts. And so falling back on it was not an option for me. I had my sights set on one thing. My focus was on one thing. I had the kind of determination that was going to make me be what I said I was going to be. Most of these guys play to get drafted. I played to be a major league pitcher, and my goal was to pitch. And I should have set my goals a little higher because I was like, I'm going to play 10 years in the big leagues, and when I get out, I'm a coach. And it's ironic that that's exactly what I'm doing right now. It's ironic that I played 10 years, and after 10 years, I was like, man, I made all this money. Let me go ahead and chill for a minute. When I should have been trying to hit them for 20 years. But again, the main thing is you have to have a plan. And if you have a plan, that means you're going to take steps to carry that plan out.
But
So
Free,
for me
I'm
to
sorry, go
carry
ahead.
that plan out, I knew it was some things that I could do and the things that I couldn't do. I couldn't hang out. I couldn't run wild. I couldn't do a lot of things that was going to snatch the rug out from under myself. So I had to have some self-discipline. And then I had to have that foresight of thinking that if I do this, how is it going to affect me? And a lot of times we get away from thinking about the results. We get caught up in the moment and we don't think about how it's going to affect us. And I had all those things in place. So I was real strict in my process. And when I got to Jackson State, my major was psychology because I wanted to understand people. I wanted to have an understanding of my mental process, and I wanted to be able to use that in the baseball profession. And I think I utilized it pretty well.
Two things real quick, Free, what you spoke about. Number one is what you said was, I ain't going back to Jackson State. And that just goes back into the determination. When you told that story, I was only 14 years old, trying to hit the backdoor curveball in the inside of the part of that square, with a rubber ball, wiping that ball off. See, a lot of parents and a lot of kids think they're going to get what they're going to get just off of hope and a win. When you coming from 73rd Street out here doing what you're doing, and then you have the confidence and you knew that you was it. So you can say that, you know what I'm saying, I ain't going back because you
Right.
put the work in. Because you put the work in. A lot of people, a lot of parents don't believe in calling their kid and don't believe in them doing the extra work. You went outside and throw it in the cold weather on your own. Ran
And even that,
on your own.
even
You see what I'm
so
saying?
with that, man. And I knew that when the baseball season came, coming from Chicago, we didn't have no facilities to go and work out at. So how did I get my throwing in February? I flipped my mattress up in my bedroom up against the wall, and I got 5 feet behind it, and I threw it to that mattress 100 times. I'm talking about as hard as I could. That's how I got my work in. I'm in my own bedroom sweating. Dude, my bedroom was an indoor facility. And so when I hear guys talk about, I don't have nobody to work out with, I don't, I don't know what to do on my own. Well, that's just an excuse that you're building up in case you fail. I wasn't going to fail because that was my focus, that there is nothing that's going to stop me from getting to where I need to go. And those are the things that, we kind of lost that now because everybody has been handed so much, things have been made a lot simpler. Guys have a 2-hour practice and they think it's too long, or guys think that they're going to learn how to play on the weekends, but they don't put the work in during the week. And so as pitchers, we have to be able to understand every little single adjustment we got to make on 3 or 4 different pitches. And it's not always about doing a run and gun, throwing the ball as hard as you can after you look up at the radar gun and you congratulate your boy because he hit his personal velocity, but the ball is over the backstop. There's some specific things that guys don't work on, man. And I saw it throughout the tournament that we played with in Jupiter, a lot of teams, man, was running guys out here that had high velocity, but they got 45 pitches in the first inning. I'm like, hey, man,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you throwing hard, but guess what? Don't nobody want that. Don't nobody want that. And so we've been duped into believing that all you got to do is be able to throw a certain velocity and you're going to get all the fruits of the game. And that's what I try and really teach these guys, that these are some things that you got to make sure that you take care of before you get in a situation where you're looking at showcases and trying to get exposure, and then you really going out here exposing the things that you don't know. So
So,
that's
No
my
exposure ain't good
and
exposure.
but I'm gonna attest to the last statement, and I'm gonna rewind a little bit. 2014, free Coach Freeman. He wasn't starting Marvin. He was a damn coach at that time. But he had a young guy named J.P. Massey, 5'8", maybe 75 pounds, soaking wet, right?
His
And I
beat.
remember, right. I remember a bullpen session. JP's, we were at the original Ho Chunk where the dogs was, not the
the
stuff.
sand trap incident.
So,
Yeah.
Coach Marvin brought me to the side and said, "This makes sure JP do this. He talking surgeons. I'm like, free, I don't know what the hell all that stabilize on the front side shit mean. But I picked his brain a little more, and what I saw from JP at 14 that he put in JP at 14, he kept doing till he was 20. And then that some bitch got to be, he was only throwing 82 his senior year, but he kept the fundamentals, kept going to, Coach Freeman, not Starvin Marvin. And then he's up to 97 in the Big Ten for Minnesota, and he's, playing professional baseball. So that's I know a lot of people are going to watch this and say, oh, maybe he just talking. No, I'm a witness. Like I saw
We've seen it. We've seen
I
it.
saw a kid that used to ride in the backseat of my car, go to pitching lessons, and his mom and dad really trust the process in the front side stabilizing, rotating the ball, not trying to run it. I've never seen none of them guys that Marvin worked with run and throw and, the whole gamut, because it works. And now this young man's life has changed forever because of listening and getting good information in the fundamental ages.
And coach, I have a question for you. You come out of the big leagues, you get right into, you say you get right into coaching. What are what are the challenges that you're seeing in today's high school athlete that, for example, a lot of us as coaches and even some, just casual watchers, we all see these kids have this sense of entitlement. What are some things that you're seeing, from the training aspect that these kids are doing that can hamper them later down the line?
Well, most of the things I tell these guys especially when I'm giving them a lesson, I'm like, this lesson is really to give you an idea of what you need to be practicing on an everyday basis.
Mm,
This lesson is not going to be a situation where you just come in once a week and you do the lesson and you're going to get better. This is to tell you what you need to be working on 5, 6 days a week. And I'm like, most guys don't love the game like they say they love the game. They like the game. They don't love it though. Because when you love it, you wake up in the morning thinking, what am I going to do to make myself better today than I was yesterday? Am I going to do these 100 front end stabilizing drills? Am I going to do this forearm curls until my forearm feels like it's going to blow up because I'm trying to get tighter rotation on my breaking pitches? Or am I going to wait for somebody to come tap me on the shoulder and tell me, hey, did you do your workout today? Mostly these kids want supervision.
mm,
And if you look back when we came up, there was no adult at the park when we was playing sandlot.
Mm-mm.
It's a bunch of kids working on their own game. I'm a bat left-handed this time. We only got 2 outfielders, or if you hit the ball, if you pull the ball, you out. So it forced you to go the other way. So the creativity piece is missing because everyone wants to be told what to do,
mm.
and to go out on your own and do it is rare. And the few guys that I see that go out and do it on their own, they always having success because they having a better baseball IQ when it's actually time to play the game. You know, the game is not something that's scripted. The game
Mm.
is going to play itself. So you have to make sure that you understand situations, and that's what. And I'm teaching more situations now to young pitchers because they're going to happen in the game, such as, okay, if it's 2-0, I've missed with 2 breaking balls, and if it's a hitter up there, he know I'm not going to throw a third one, so I can't just throw my fastball right down the middle.
You
I
gotta
got to be
try
able to get
to.
this ball away from him. I got to see if I can take advantage of his aggressiveness by making a better pitch. And so I had a kid come in tonight. He was like, "Yeah, I was at this showcase. This is a senior in high school. I was at this showcase. I got the first 2 strikes, and then I didn't know how to finish the hitter off. So I ended up going 2-2, and I threw a changeup, and the dude hit a home run off me." I say, well, being able to understand how you got the 2-2. So I'm really getting really more in depth with the actual situational pitching, and having an understanding that when you don't make the pitch, why didn't you make it? What did you do that's going to help you understand how to make those pitches?
But free, that come from you. You had a you study psychology, so that's what all that plays a format too. And so like I just piggyback on that. Like you had the will to learn. Then you said you knew you was gonna coach 10 years and coach. That's all psychological, man. That's all psychic. Like you didn't know that God probably instilled that in you at that time, and look what he manifests for your life. And I think maybe it was only meant for you to do 2 outstanding great years and me 10 outstanding years in MLB, and now you're giving that knowledge out, man. Because like you said though, if you see it, you believe you can touch it, man. And look at all the pitches you affected, and that's what I want to piggyback on my next question. Talk about some of the guys that you touched in the last 5 or 10 years, man. That you got in the majors, man. Go ahead and talk your noise, man. Talk about some of these guys you got
Hey,
out here.
man. Hey, I turned the game on one time this year, and I saw Taj Bradley from the Tampa Bay Rays, and he was going up against Xavier Curry from the Cleveland Indians, and I I had to do like a double take. I was like, oh, it's 2 brothers pitching. I was like, hold up, them Freeman baseball disciples, them Freeman disciples right there. So I locked in like this. I was like, them 2 guys I've had since they was 15, 16 years old. Then Mark Church, he just got called up with the Texas Rangers. Mark Church throwing 98 to 100 miles an hour. He was an outfielder when he came to see me at 16. He didn't have no breaking ball. Now he got the best slider in the organization. He's throwing 96 to 98. Marquise Grissom Jr. Marquise was a 17-year veteran and center fielder. So you would think, hey, his son going to be a outfielder as well. But when I see guys like him, Lou Collier, trust me with their sons to teach them how to pitch, it really makes me puff my chest out, because I'm like, they must know that I know what I'm talking about, because now Marquise Jr. is one of the prize prospects for the Washington Nationals. And looking for him to come up in the big leagues next year. Tink Hintz, the St. Louis Cardinals, he's a #1 prospect. All these guys come down here and work out with us in the winter in Atlanta, and they're not only just getting advice on how to make pitches, they're getting an understanding of the big league mentality. They're getting an understanding of the locker room mentality. They're understanding some of the things that they're going to be faced with being black pitchers. And I'm telling you, man, they coming. They coming, dog. I'm going to have 90% of the black pitchers in the big leagues. They going to come through me.
And they
Because
should.
they see what
Talk
I'm
that
doing with
noise,
these
Free.
other cats.
Talk that noise, man.
That's what we've been waiting on. This is what we were waiting on. This is what we've been waiting on right here. The real talk.
Come on, man.
Yeah, that's what we were waiting on right
This
here.
morning, I'm looking for the next one. When
Yeah.
I go do a lesson,
Hell yeah.
I'm telling the dude, I'm like, hey man, look, we ain't here to babysit, and the parent, they buying into the fact that I could talk to Junior like I'm talking to one of my own sons. And I tell you, hey man, you lazy dog, you ain't doing nothing, because I'm not trying to get your paper. I said, I don't need your paper. I'm trying to make you something that you want to be. And if you don't want to be who you want to be, you can't depend on nobody to make you that person by motivating. You got to be self-motivated. And then you got to be able to accept this information and then act on it. And so, I'm getting guys
So,
calling me from all over the place now because they see what these other guys are doing. And look, every one of them guys that I named, Taj Bradley, he was American League Pitcher of the Week. Marquise Grissom, all-star with his organization. Tink Hintz, #1 prospect for the St. Louis
Cardinal.
Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Nolan just got called up to AAA. He's 23 with the Twins. Mark Church just got called up to the big leagues. He's one of the best pitchers in their organization. So we ain't just down here playing baseball, man. We trying to take over this thing. We trying to
So,
have.
Look what Troy said. Look what Troy said. Look what
What's,
Troy said.
who's
That
that?
changeup. Troy Williams said that changeup revitalized my college career. Got me all slack after
Hey,
summer
he
with
one of my
coach.
disciples. So, and we ain't gang
so
bangers. We banging for baseball
we
right now.
banging
Yes,
You know
for,
what I'm
sir.
saying?
but I gotta jump in because you mentioned Atlanta, right? And I saw, you know, I'm gonna be very, I'm a rep Chicago day and day. But when we saw the baseball community saw you and Marvin leave Chicago to go to Atlanta, we knew y'all had something up y'all sleeve. #1,
Yeah, him and Lou.
but number
You talking
two,
about Lou? You
Yeah,
talking about Lou, right?
yeah.
yes,
We trying to get Lou on the show too, Free.
we
Tell
yeah
Lou we
we
got to tap
yeah
in.
both y'all
We'll be on.
CVS 87th Street. But no, when we saw you and Lou, leave, and it wasn't that long ago, we didn't quite understand what the hell was about. But when we saw the MLB develops and the Hill Boys and all the great, I said, okay, it makes sense. They push it. They trying to push these moms to the league from this hotbed of Atlanta. Walk me through the difference of the Atlanta youth prospect opposed to the Chicago youth prospect, black prospect.
The thing is, all these dudes down here, they feeding off each other. So see when you see a guy like Mike Harris that's been on your travel team win Rookie of the Year, and y'all been in the cage together, y'all been y'all been talking the same noise, y'all been joking around with each other, and you see him have the kind of success he got, then you come up with another Lawrence Butler. Did you see Lawrence Butler this year?
Ooh
Come on,
wee,
man.
ooh
Stand up for
wee.
the
Look,
A's.
dude, when I came to Atlanta, I I joined up with Marquise Grissom's travel ball team, his 16U team. It was Mike Harris, Lawrence Butler, Taj Bradley, Marquise Grissom Jr., Jalen Nolan, Mark Church. All these dudes came up through the same little 16U team, and they all finna be in the big leagues
Mm,
either the end of this year or next year. We ain't
And
gonna
that's
even talk
unheard of
about
these days.
right.
we ain't gonna even talk about Tamar and all these other guys that played on other teams that all work out together. And so the competition amongst each other to
Okay.
be great is something that I haven't seen before. I mean, when I first got out here and I saw that team, I was like, "This what y'all doing down here?"
Right.
I said, "Oh, I'm about to come up, man. I'm about to
You
blow
know,
this thing up,
it's crazy
cause
because real quick, because that's same we had Darius Day on. You know Darius real good, and he
mm-hmm.
said that's something that made him and that group so special. When you had Corey Ray, Blake Hickman, himself, Bo, Marshawn, you had all those guys. Those guys, like when you got dogs breeding with dogs, dogs gonna breed with dogs. Who's gonna bring the best out you? So I'm sorry if you actually want to, just to
No,
piggyback
that's
what
right.
you're
You're
speaking about.
100% right. You're 100% correct, man, because, you know, you get a bunch of alpha males in one group, somebody going to try and be the alpha of the alpha male. And
Yep.
so if everybody trying to be that top dog, man, everybody going to eat. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Everybody going to eat because most of the time these kids, they shy away from competition. They
Hmm.
they get somebody competing for their spot, they going to jump on another team. They gonna start their career over somewhere else.
Scared of
Just like all these dudes
competition.
that's getting in the portal now. I mean, I understand you getting in the portal because you want to get some NIL money and you had a great year. But don't jump in the portal if you pitch 2 innings and you didn't walk 12 guys.
Everybody got time for that.
Come on, man. I mean, look, they don't think the coach is looking at your numbers that you had the previous year. Coach, I'm in the portal, man. Can you call somebody and no,
Stick
I
it
ain't
up.
call nobody for you, man.
So,
The thing
so
you
also,
got to do is
okay.
fight.
So
You know,
what I want to two questions, because when I see y'all getting the top talented guys with MLB develops. Shout out to MLB develops. That's something that I'm watching really closely, because I'm looking at all these top talented black kids go 5-0, 6-1, 7-0 in the weekend series, beating these. I gotta be politically correct, so this video won't get flagged, with beating these, so-called elite, so-called top teams and you guys are beating them with all black players. Walk us through. Do you guys face any type of
hate.
well, hate, right? But is it a culture shock when because some of y'all kids y'all got, they came from all white programs and this their first time playing with all blacks? Is it a culture shock for them seeing like, oh man, we actually could beat them?
Man, they be free when they get with us. They free,
Hello.
man. They in the dugouts, man. They all listen to the same music. We playing music on the field. They bumping their head. I mean,
Okay.
bro, let me tell you, it's so gratifying to see guys that ain't sitting around waiting on somebody to,
Yep.
hey, don't do that, don't do this. So they free to be who they are. And it shows on the field, man. I mean, our culture is rhythmic. We have fun. But when it's time to lock in, we can do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they see other guys, and I've heard it from, many of the parents, man, we ain't never seen this before. I mean, when we get off the bus and it's 28, 30 black kids and the heads turn like, who is that? Who is that? And somebody asked me, where y'all from? I say, Wakanda. We all Panthers, man. We like Black Panthers when we walking in these stadiums, man. And we ran through a lot of teams this summer. It was
Mm-hmm.
so nice. We won like 20-some games in a row in the perfect game circuit. And
Yeah.
they try to set it up for if it gets tight, they're gonna hit you in the mouth. But we've already had this conversation with the kids. We tell them, hey, look, we're not gonna let it be tight. We're gonna go out here and we're gonna be fundamentally sound. We're going to execute what we've been working on for the last 2 months. And you're going to see how it's going to override and supersede the travel ball showcase mentality. You can never fail if you fundamentally sound. Well, you saw the World Series. You saw what the Yankees did. They was making errors
Mm-hmm.
that, a travel team would make, and they end up losing. So fundamentals is what we stress. We try and really make sure that these guys have an understanding why we stress the fundamentals, and we talk to them in a way that they can actually break it down and think about it. So when you do that over the course of time, then you're gonna have a better product.
You know what, Freeman? It's so gratifying to hear that, man, and to see when you was out here in Chicago when you was with the ACE organization, man, and you was laying down, you was you was laying down what you're talking about right now, and to go out there in Atlanta to do it, man. You really, I know this shit and it sounds cheesy, but you really doing God's work, bro. Like you really out here doing it, man. And, from one brother when I was with the ACE coach, and you was always just dropping knowledge, man, and just being who you are, man. And it's gratifying to hear it. And my cousin, Kavari Thunderbird, man, he always tell me, say, I love when I go talk to Coach Free, man. He made me feel like I'm right at home. He calm my nerves, and he always get me right when I get where I need to be. And just when we went through that whole ordeal, and he was like, man, Free pulled me to the side and talked to me and say, hey, man, look, just focus, do what you got to do. And he said, you talked to him for a long time, man. And just from a man perspective, man, I just want to thank you for doing that for my family,
And
bro. Like real
if
talk.
I can piggyback off of Book, I'm not too, I'm right in that same age group as these guys. I'm the youngest of the three, but saying all that to say, You know, I'm doing my research on you. You know what I mean? And I'm just looking like I'm one of the things I love about baseball is the history of it. You know, I'm seeing that you started your career with the Phillies, but it was that 3 year stretch with the Braves that I'm just like, what was that like? You know, because
Yeah.
I'm looking at the pitching staff, and Greg Maddux was only there with you for what, one season? Because
Two
he came in
seasons.
what, 92
He
seasons?
came
Okay,
in
so I know he came
'92 and
from the Cubs,
'93.
but I'm just thinking of like
Man,
you don't
look,
get a
that team was
chance to
that team was
meet
so
your
stacked.
idols, and you don't say that again.
That team was so stacked with the Braves. We had 6 Cy Young awards on the same rotation at the same time. It
God,
was it
That's
was
what I'm
it was Steve.
saying. Like,
Come on,
Smokes,
man. It was Mark
Glavine.
Davis.
Oh,
Y'all even forgot
I
about the
forgot
young
about
reliever.
Mark. I forgot
Mark
about Mark
Davis,
Davis.
Steve Bedrosian, Smoltz, Glavine, Maddox, and
did y'all have Steve Avery?
we had Steve Avery, but he didn't win the Cy. He should have won the Cy Young. He was like 18. He won 18 games. So
Mm.
the wealth of pitching was so vast that if you didn't learn something from watching all these guys perform, you're wasting your time. And
Mm.
that's what I tell guys all the time. Don't hate on the next pitcher that's great. Watch, see what he's doing.
Yeah,
Pick up some things that
exactly.
he's doing. Find out that what you doing ain't matching what he's doing, and then do what he's doing.
And
So
then not to
understanding, man, the game is when you playing with a bunch of guys that's great, you gotta take something away from that.
But look how many brothers was on that team, though,
That's
man.
what I was gonna say.
Look how
Like
many
that's the thing
brothers was
about
on
the
that team.
Braves. And then
You
y'all
know what I'm
have the
saying?
brother of all brothers. You played with Coach Prime.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Like,
I just saw I
Dion.
just saw I
Dion
just
played
saw Dave
baseball.
Justice is on here too. Dave Justice came up in the
Dave
comments.
Justice.
oh man,
Dave,
shout
Okay.
out to
listen,
Dave
let
Justice,
me
man.
let me run them down to you.
Talk to
We
me.
had Dave and right,
Mm-hmm.
Otis and center,
Mm-hmm.
Otis
Ronnie
Nixon.
Gant in left. Dion was playing all over the place in the outfield.
Mm-hmm.
Terry Pendleton,
Mm-hmm.
Brian Hunter,
Mm-hmm.
Keith Mitchell,
Mm-hmm.
Marvin Freeman. Did I
Mm-hmm.
say Ronnie Gant?
Yep.
Yes.
But we had so many. Look, after BP,
That's
you
eight
in
right
that players
there, bro.
lounge, you in the players lounge, bruh, and it
I
was
bet
it
that's
was Kentucky Fried Chicken and BET.
hey, hey, listen to me. I can only man look here. I can see Freeman. Some Big Daddy Kane came on. And Free that
Come on,
joint acting a
man.
fool, man. You know, Free
I,
run that thing talking, man. He represent for the dark tall brothers like me,
hey,
goddamn it. But yeah.
you talking about signifying and playing the dozens, man. It got so bad up in there. Everybody had a nickname. They used to call me Grace Jones, big black high top fade. I mean, everybody had their own nickname. I'm not gonna go on here and say what their nicknames was because some of them was get this whole channel shut down. But
Okay.
we gonna make
They
sure
already
that
they
we
already out
understood.
this, man. They already
We
out
had
this, man.
so much fun. We had so much fun, man. That team, and then we won every year. We get to the park every day, man. It was like, all right, we in the pennant race, man. For 3 straight years, we either win and go to first or lose and go to second. That's how tight it was every year. So we had to be a close knit team, and everybody was cool on that team, man.
So
I mean, we used to go at it so hard on the bus. I used to tell dudes, and we was in the back of the bus. I used to be on the back of the bus. I said, whoever turn around, they gonna be next. And I'm just gonna let them have it. And man, they was sitting on that bus like this. And nobody turned their
that's
head and look in the back because I know they
that's
know.
73rd. That's 73rd
Come
free kick in right there,
on,
boy.
man. Look,
73rd
we
free
used to
kick
sig.
in.
We
Yes,
used to
sir.
sig so bad it's gonna end up in a fight every time in my neighborhood. You gonna say something that somebody gonna steal on you. But yeah, that was a fun team, man. That was a fun team, and we won. And it was just we get to the park. We got a 7 o'clock game. We at the park at 12 noon. That's how excited we was to get to the ballpark.
And I
Free.
got
Talk about real quick. Talk about from going to a pitching in Atlanta and being in a controlled environment sometimes. So when you went to we went to Colorado and you had outstanding year. You placed in the Cy Young Awards that a
Heard.
couple of those years as well too. Talk about that's when you really had to like hone down and pitch in the course field.
Well, you know what? Going from Atlanta to Colorado, everybody was making a big deal about how the ball carried, And I didn't really pay too much attention to that because I had an idea what I was trying to do. And when I got over there my first year in '94, I was like, I'm gonna do everything I saw Greg Maddux do. He threw strike one. He threw a two-seamer. He kept the ball down. He always worked ahead. He worked fast. I end up finishing fourth in Cy Young, going 10-2, leading the league in winning percentage.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, the only thing that stopped us that year was we went on strike.
Mm-hmm.
The season
Yep.
ended at the end of August. But going from that to, the next year, I was like, all right, now I'm going to be Doc Gooden again. And I already told you when I tried to be Doc Gooden, my thing fell apart, right?
You had a neck brace on your neck. You had a neck brace on.
One of them headliners now, right? And they started sending balls out. It was like a pinball machine on that course field. But it was it's definitely a learning experience that I teach to this day, and it's based off experience. It ain't something that I read. It ain't something that I saw somebody else do. It's something that I lived, and that's why I feel like I carry more weight in the baseball world because I can tell you how to fail and succeed. A lot of guys can tell you how they failed and don't do what I did. But if you're constantly telling me how to crash a plane, how am I going to land it? I'm like, I want the pilot to teach me how to fly the plane, not a baggage handler.
Right.
And so if you're the pilot and you're telling me, hey, pull back on the wheel gently right here, you get a little turbulence, hey, let up off of it. I know that I can be confident with that. But I can't tell a guy that's been constantly crashing planes, say, well, I didn't do it. I didn't have no success. I can't really tell you how to have success. All I can do is tell you that this is what didn't work for me. And I get it. Guys are going to teach you what they know. And I take a lot of pride in studying my craft, especially studying it so that I can teach it. And that's what makes the difference between what I do and what everybody else does is that I can give you real live examples and show it to you.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of guys understand, they like, man, where you get all them videos from? Well, it goes back to me thinking, well, hey, every time I go out there, this might be my last time pitching. And so if I don't go out here with the attitude that this might be my last time, then it might be my last time. And over the course of some years, I accumulated a lot of video. And I was like, well, at some point, my grandkids going to want to see if old grandpa actually did the things he said. So I saved all that stuff.
That's
and
dope,
here
man.
they come with social media, man. And I'm like, yeah.
Shit, free ain't gonna never die.
Free ain't gonna never die.
Free ain't gonna never die, guys.
Well,
I'm finna go ahead.
The beauty of it is we don't like, and I enjoy it because it's a digital asset that we can use. Like, it's a free pitching lesson. So if he's on there talking, it's a damn free virtual pitching lesson to where all the parents in the comments and everybody who's watching this live and on demand, it's a free pitching lesson. We literally send that to the kids in the youth program. Look, go watch this. Ask me something. If I can't answer it from this video, just shoot him a damn DM. He gonna answer it. Man, so I think that you are, I think you're one of the old heads who literally are taking advantage. A lot of y'all not taking advantage of the internet to further grow the game. I love it.
Yeah.
Why die with this information?
Hello. Yeah. Hello. Go ahead. Yeah, I was waiting on the hello.
This is Freeman baseball. That means it's free, man. I'm
giving it away.
I'm handing out chips. I'm handing them out, man. I mean, here it is. Here, you want some? Here you go. Boom, 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 boom. I be getting a lot of guys like, man, you giving away way too much. I'm like, well, I'm giving you, I'm leading breadcrumbs so it can lead you to where you're trying to go. Now, if you really want to try and get there faster, come see me.
Right.
Come see me. I got dudes driving from, I had a couple dudes drive from Canada for a 1 hour lesson because they know they're not getting this information. And when they left, they was like, man, I learned more in an than I have ever learned in my whole life, and I understand it. That's the key.
And,
Understanding. That's wisdom.
and also, and what I Aaron said too is that, hey man, this thing is free. I'm pretty sure if parents are watching this video and we put it up, if you guys are like interested and you couldn't get the free, you send a video and say, hey, this is what I can you give me a tidbit or what you see, what I need to improve on? Like if you don't open yourself
Now,
up and
see,
try to reach
that
out to a
part ain't
brother,
free.
right? No, they want to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying though, if they wanted to, Coach Freeman, what do you see right now? You know, how much do I got to walk the band out of Kazam? You know, but more importantly, what knowledge can you give me? And I'm pretty sure, you know, y'all gonna talk that out and work that out. But like in this age of information, if you ain't getting better, like Coach Free said, you ain't running on your own, you ain't doing nothing, you sit on your ass playing PlayStation on IG, you're not trying to get into them and put the mattress up. My man said he used to Free just said, I took the damn rubber ball and wiped the snow off, and I kept throwing. I took
He
my
got me
mattress.
when he was
I
taking the
took my
mattress off and
mattress and
playing
put
in
it
his bedroom.
in 5 feet. I'm throwing that thing, and that's equivalent to long toss. I'm boom. I'm getting it right. I'm
Come on,
getting it right.
man.
I'm getting it right.
Yeah.
I'm getting it right. But you know, you gotta have that dog in you. You know, a lot of people ain't from Chicago, G. So
Right.
that's something that we got. You know what I'm saying? That's something that we got here.
Dogs, man.
You know, but
Absolutely.
Freeman, man, before we let you go, man, I know you got your foundation as well, my brother, man. You want to talk about that, some of the things that you're doing, and hopefully we can get you to come up here next time you here. We can get you for the Martin Luther King Day camp that we have every year, man. But talk about your foundation and some of the philanthropy things that you're doing out here to help, the community as well too.
Yeah, we started a foundation 4 years ago, and basically what we try to do is reach the kids that's underserved. Most of the kids that we work with are kids that really have the desire. Um, we have certain qualifications that they have to get all this free training, the scholarship program. I do a winter training program that's absolutely free. I pick out 5 or 6 pitchers every year before the season starts, and I work with them for 2 months,
Mm,
absolutely free. Um, it ends up being probably about a $2,000 package that they get for
Mm.
free. Um, we do a scholarship for outgoing seniors every year. This year we scholarship the young man with a $5,000 scholarship. Um, but most of it is we make sure these kids understand that everybody is not going to make it as a baseball player to the
it's
big
not.
leagues. But
Mm-hmm.
if your work ethic has you putting yourself in the right position as a student, as a community servant, as a all-around good person, then you're going to be you're going to be able to qualify for some of these programs. We we really try to emphasize the community service aspect of it because we named the award the Keith O'Brien Freeman Scholarship, named after my brother Keith, who
Brother, yeah.
passed away 3 years ago.
God
And
bless, God bless.
he was a advocate for you know the underprivileged, underserved. He had a programs in Chicago where he was trying to fight for higher salaries. He was trying to make sure that ex offenders got back on their feet.
That's what's up,
And he
man.
did a lot of things as far as getting them, housing and stuff of that nature. And then when he passed away, just seeing the response that he had at his funeral made me just let him know that, hey, man, your name is not going to never die as long as I'm alive. And we got this endowment just to make sure that the kids that earn this, they have an understanding of what they're actually earning here. And so my wife and I, and we're a small mom and pop shop, but we still doing we doing big things for kids, and we hope to continue to grow. My son Justin is out in Houston. We've expanded out into that area, and so we're going to continue to try and spread this thing out,
Yep.
man. Like I said, Chicago is not out of the question because that's where I'm from. Those are my roots. But all of the information that people need to kind of really apply for the scholarship program is on my website, marvinfreemanyouthfoundation.org. They can go on there and understand some of the things that we're doing. And, like I said, man, we all one village.
Man,
And we got to make
yo.
sure that we all feeding each other. And if we doing that, we doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing. We shouldn't get credit for doing what we're supposed to be doing. We should be doing what we're supposed to be doing because it's what we're supposed to be doing.
Mm.
And that's why I do so much for the community, for the youth. I volunteer at Morehouse College down here. I help some of their pitchers out. And you know, man, look, it's gonna go on and on till I can't go no more. And I love it. And the love of the game is still in me, and it hasn't decreased. And every time I see a kid that's got that light in his eyes, that wants to be the next Marvin Freeman or whoever he wants to be,
Take you back to
I'm gonna give him
73rd
everything I
Street.
got, man.
It takes
Give
you
him
back.
everything I got, man.
It takes you back to 73rd. Makes you feel like, damn, I see myself in him.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
man, look, if I'd have had a big leaguer come talk to me when I was at 73rd, I might have made it to the big league.
Well, well, free man. Look, man. Anything we here at Black Baseball Media, man, pushing the envelope, man. We have a saying. We are the community that we serve.
That's
You know,
right.
we are that community. We don't change up. We're not going to pretend who we're not going to be.
Nope.
We're going to be us, and we're always going to keep it funky. We're going to keep it fresh, and we're going to keep helping our communities by doing our free clinics and serving over 150 kids, feeding them and giving out free T-shirts and free blessings and things of that nature. So we doing a big thing up here, man, and we spread it from San Diego. We got New York coming. We're going down to Alabama covering the D2. A D2 special with Miles College down there. We going back to Detroit, and you know we're steady doing this thing that we're doing, man. And anything that we can do to help spread your message and your foundation, and push narrative up here, my brother, we definitely be a part of that, man, and help out any way we can.
Absolutely.
Hey, man, well, hey, I'm with y'all on 100%, man. This for y'all thing that y'all doing.
Man.
Keep doing y'all thing, man, and we're going to rep this thing all the way out.
You already
We're
know.
going to keep it pushing, man. We're going to make this thing grow. Don't nobody tell me black kids ain't playing baseball.
Come
That's
on.
a lie.
Come on. Come
I
on.
want to hear that.
Yep.
I want to hear
They're
that.
not only playing, but they're excelling.
Excelling,
Damn right.
man. Free, man. We appreciate you, my brother. We thank you, man. We
Absolutely, man.
appreciate you, my brother,
My
man.
hat, baby.
Salute to a GOAT, man. Shout out to our Marvin Freeman, man. We appreciate you, my brother.
My melon.
Appreciate
All right,
y'all,
man.
Y'all
Peace,
take
brother.
care.
All right, y'all.
Yep.